If you're watching this, the chances are you just watched episode 2 of season 2 and your brain is buzzing. You're scratching your head about all the balloons, and seriously, what is the deal with the pineapples? Well, heads up, major spoilers ahead. If you're not caught up, consider this your warning. But if you're ready to dive into some wild theories and unravel some insane clues, you're absolutely in the right place. Before we dig in, if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your support. But if this is your first time hearing my voice and you're enjoying this type of content, please do not forget to like and subscribe. Okay, let's dive in. This episode is absolutely fascinating because of how it challenges the way that we piece together different events. You might find yourself questioning the timeline or even wondering if watching the second episode first would make more sense. No matter how you approach it, the episodes work together seamlessly. And that dynamic connection is what makes this installment so compelling. Let us begin with the new title sequence. This episode finally gives us a look at the fresh Season 2 title sequence, and it's absolutely packed with so many layers of secrets. One prominent theme in the sequence is the interplay between the innie and outie versions of Mark. The innie is constantly trying to save the outie, while the outie is persistently searching for the innie. This mirrors the complementary relationship that we've been discussing throughout this video. They're endlessly seeking each other out. Another recurring theme in the title sequence is balloons. They seem to ascend in the same way that tears descend, creating a visual metaphor. It feels symbolic of the innie's mind rising to the surface while the outie's emotions are sinking below, meeting somewhere in the middle. One notable moment is when Mark climbs down the stairs within an injured brain. This could reference the scene at Peter's funeral when Harmony Cobell stole Peter's chip while everyone was distracted. So, reintegration feels like a major threat here, and it is further enforced by a haunting image where any Mark accidentally collides with Outie Mark, causing any Mark's head to expand like a balloon. This might suggest that the innie and outie cannot coexist. While they are desperate to connect, their eventual union appears destructive. We've already seen hints of this through Petey's experience with reintegration. Just behind Mark and the inflated head figures, there's also a chilling image of a car submerged in water. Many fans online believe that this car represents Gemma's car post-accident. And honestly, the fact that Gemma's file is called Cold Harbor and also Mark is there, this makes a lot of sense, but I think a lot of them might actually be wrong. Given the details of the car and how it looks, and how often it shows up in Harmony Cobell's storyline, I'm pretty sure that's Harmony Cobell's car. While the title sequence is overflowing with incredible details, I'll save the deeper exploration for another video. Stay tuned for that one, but now I just want to keep the focus on the theme of the balloons. But whose car do you think that is? Is it Gemma slash Miss Casey's car, or is it really Harmony Cobell's car? I'm really interested to know what you think, and I'm pretty sure this is a crucial storyline which is going to come up later. Now, upon the collision, the Audie's head inflates and starts ascending. This is interesting because Innie Mark's first instinct is pulling it down and staying on the iceberg. However, given the unpredictability of this internal slash external collision, he ends up flying with the inflated head upwards, which is a surprise to him himself. During this moment, he ends up spilling what looks like a liquid medicine of some sorts, while his Innie's body appears trapped within the liquid bottle. Again, the theme of balloons is absolutely unmistakable. We even see inflated, balloon-like heads of Gemma and Helly rolling through what appears to be the expanded goat department. It's bizarre, striking, and honestly layered with some deep meaning. I'll cover more on this in the upcoming special video that I talked about, but now let's talk about the pineapples. At first, bobbing pineapples in episode 1 seemed like a quirky random detail, a quote-unquote fun perk tested by Mr. Milchuk. But as the series progresses, pineapples keep showing up, and I think they're significant. Not just as a recurring theme, but because of what Lumen might be involved in. If you've been involved with Severance for the past 2 years, you probably know by this that there are some letters and a handbook out there that are supplementary content to the TV show. Now's a great time to bring up the Lexington letter. This letter is just a fascinating addition to the show's canon, which is centered on Peggy K, a severed employee from the past whose experiences we're about to read. Well, first of all, it's just official canon, and adds another layer to the world of Severance. Now, if you're obsessed with the show's mysteries, you'll want to read it. But more importantly, it highlights the efforts of a severed worker trying to bridge the gap between her two identities. I think the story of Peggy is very similar to Helena/Helly. Now, after working for almost 2 years in Lumen's severed floor, Annie Peg starts communicating with her Audi using a coded language from her childhood. I don't know, it just sounds way too similar to Helly's desperate attempts to communicate by writing on her hands. Do you remember that episode where she tried that and it didn't work? Well, in Peggy's version of the story, it worked. Now, one eerie parallel is that Peggy, like Helly, experiences what seems to be workplace punishments. Um, that's at least what they told Helly, right? Now, in this particular case, this is what Peggy says. Peg is suspicious of Lumen and worried for Peggy's safety, especially after she comes home from work with her hair wet, but is afraid to quit as that would effectively mean killing Peggy. What's alarming here is the detail about her wet hair. Now, this wet hair thing hints at a water-related punishment, right? A possible form of retaliation from Lumen for their defiance or whatever, but it's being teased as a pineapple bobbing situation. Now, if you don't know about pineapple bobbing, it appears to be a cruel and bizarre cover for some kind of water-based disciplinary activity, so something very similar to the infamous break room. And this idea starts to make even more sense when you think about the brief but haunting scene in the season 2 trailer where we see Helly's head being dunked underwater. Whether it's pineapple bobbing or something worse, one thing is clear. These activities go far beyond anything that could be considered quote-unquote normal, even at Lumen's macrodata refining department. The parallels between Peggy's story in the Lexington letter and Helly's experience on the severed floor highlights just how disturbing the lengths are to which Lumen will go to maintain control. Now that we have that fun perk out of the way, I just want to focus a little bit more on the pineapple theory. In the world of Severance, the city is perpetually cold. We've seen Devon go through her pregnancy, give birth, and months have passed, yet the outdoor scenes remain very snow-covered. Pineapples, on the other hand, are incredibly vulnerable and sensitive to frost and cold weather. Pineapples require consistent warmth during their 2-year growth cycle, or at least they need to be cultivated in controlled environments, so basically like greenhouses, right? Now, this is very interesting to me because Peggy became aware after almost a 2-year cycle, and Mark is also becoming aware after a 2-year cycle. I think there's something there, but maybe they're actually just growing pineapples on there. But yeah, jokes aside, or maybe, I don't know, like maybe that's not a joke, but whatever it is, they're expanding some of those departments. We've seen teasers of the goat department being much larger, so could Lumen just be growing pineapples indoors, or perhaps are the pineapples just a code for something more sinister? What if they're just genetically modifying pineapples to survive in the cold, much like they might be cloning individuals like Gemma or experimenting with growing infants? Because let's not forget, here Eagen, as a child, appears in the trailer. Mark is shown wearing a onesie, even though he wore a two-piece in the season 1 trailer, and both Innie and Outie Marks are depicted crawling around. So, while these are just some wild theories, it's hard to ignore the sinister undertones, but food in general seems to be terrible in this world, not just inside Lumen, but on the outside too. Remember the bizarre footless dinner Rickon hosted in the show's earliest episodes? To top it all off, Harmony Cobell herself mentions pineapples.
I ate your shitty fucking cookies.
They convinced you to stay. Was a pineapple involved?
Whether it's because she knows about Lumen's methods or because there's something more sinister going on, pineapples clearly carry weight in this narrative. Listen, whatever it is, I'm excited to see where this all leads. And I hope you are too. But seriously, what are your thoughts and theories? I'm very curious and would love to hear from you. So please share them in the comments, as I would love to just go through them and read all of it. Now stay tuned for more special Severance content too, because this was a pleasure, and as you know, I'm the Rebo, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.